We will explore how Cursor AI creates code, how it integrates various large language models, and how you can begin using it. Visit cursor.com, the official website, where you can sign up and download the tool. It is not a cloud-based IDE, so you will need to install it locally. This setup enhances the power of your overall toolchain. I'll assume you have limited experience in coding while conducting this lecture. If you're already familiar with programming, you may skip certain sections. We'll look at how Cursor, which is built on top of VS Code, can be used for different types of coding tasks. Cursor offers a free version with a 2-week pro trial. The pro plan allows up to 2,000 completions, 50 slow requests, and costs $20 per month for unlimited completions and 500 fast requests, among other features. Depending on your coding needs, you can choose the appropriate plan. I've already downloaded and installed Cursor. The layout is quite intuitive. On the left side, you'll see the workspace with all your open files. I previously created an e-commerce website in Python using this tool, and we will work on something similar later in the course. The tool generated the full app structure, including files like models.py and main.py, along with routes and functionality. I began with a basic structure, made some manual changes, and then asked the AI to modify and enhance the code accordingly. You can view and edit all the files in your workspace easily. Cursor also provides auto-completion, a terminal for running code, and most importantly, a chat box where you can prompt the AI to write anything. You can select the AI model based on your plan and choose options such as auto error correction from the settings. Now let's create a simple project to see how it works. When you first launch Cursor, you'll be prompted to open or create a new project. I've created a folder on my computer called Sample and opened it. A new chat window appears by default. Let's prompt the tool by writing, "Create a page which says Hello World" in bold. When you enter this, the system generates a simple HTML page. It creates the file with the title Hello World and shows the result. You can modify the content or accept it as is. The page is created directly from your prompt. When you run the program, it launches index.html, and opening it in Google Chrome will display the Hello World message. You don't need any coding knowledge, just give commands and the tool handles the rest. Now let's change the message to say, "Hello World" from vibecodер. After updating and saving the file, we run it again and see the updated message. Next, we'll prompt the system to add a light blue background and a Click Me button. The system generates the required code, which we accept. Running it now shows the updated page with the blue background and button. Inspecting the code reveals that inline CSS has been added to the body tag. For those unfamiliar, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets and controls the design and appearance of the HTML page. You don't need to worry about understanding everything right away. It might help to take a beginner's web development course for deeper insight. Here the goal is to get things done using the tool. Let's now ask the tool to add functionality to the button so that clicking it displays a message that says, "Hi there." The tool generates the necessary JavaScript and, upon running, the message appears as expected. All of this has been accomplished in seconds using Cursor. Normally, writing this code manually would take at least 30 minutes. Using AI, we can delegate repetitive tasks to the tool and focus on creativity and product development. That's the essence of vibe coding. We're going to build a slightly more complex application and use some new techniques to get it done. Let's start by creating a folder and naming it. Then we'll head back to Cursor and open that newly created folder. You'll notice it's a completely empty workspace. What we're aiming to do is build a code generator using Cursor AI. This will involve a kind of multi-layered prompting process. One approach is to ask another large language model, like ChatGPT or Grok, which has recently become one of my favorites, to suggest the prompts. We can then feed those into Cursor to generate the actual app. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll visit opengrok.com and see what we can find. All right, we've opened Grok, and now we'll ask it for some ideas. What we're doing here is telling Grok that we want to create a code generator, and we're asking it to suggest a set of prompts that we can use with Cursor to build the final app. So let's dive in. So we've given the prompt to Grok, and it has suggested the following ideas. The first step is to set up the project structure, and it gave us a prompt to create a new React project. This will basically be a single-page HTML application. It also listed the technologies we'll be using, which include CDN-hosted React DOM, OKTable for JSX, and Tailwind. If you're new to web development, don't worry about that right now. We'll get to it later, but for now, just try to follow the process. This first step will generate an index HTML file and set up the basic structure. Let's go ahead and copy the prompt and run it. So this is the first index HTML file that has been created for us, and now we'll run it. It's running on a Python server, so we can open localhost and see it in the browser. The first page is up and running. The structure is in place, though it's not doing anything yet. But at least the page is visible. The next step is to generate the actual code data. We'll copy the prompt for generating the code data and run it. Notice that we're following a logical sequence of steps that we'll also use while building the actual app with developers. Let's paste that into the chat window and run it. You can now see the file it generated. It includes all the code we asked for, so the structure is now complete. Let's run it and check for any visible changes. It might not display anything yet because all we've done so far is set up the backend system where the JS file just holds the code data. Now we move to the next part, which is building the code display component. This involves updating the React project to include that component. Let's do that now. We'll paste that prompt into the chat and let it process. It has now created the system. There's a white background card with a shadow and rounded corners, and it uses a large font for the quoted text. You can refresh your browser and see the new code display. Each time you refresh the page, a different random quote appears, which is exactly what we wanted. Let's refresh it and take a look. Right now, it's not generating the code for us, which means we need to debug it. This is actually one of the powerful aspects of a vibecoding setup like this. It can spot bugs and work through them. The terminal is now running again, and we'll check if it's working. Now we can see the code generator is working. When we refresh the page, it displays a new quote. What you get by achieving your goal is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. It's amazing what you can build just by telling the AI what you want.